Grabe naman ho yan mga kababayan. Umiinit ho ang mga banatan dyan sa Senado. Kinwestiyon ho nitong si Senator Bato de la Rosa ang plano nitong si Senate President Chis Escudero na magbigay ng transcript kaugnay doon sa nangyaring hearing sa Senado dyan sa ICC. Pero bago ho natin pag-usapan yung mga kaganapan na yan, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan. At sa mga gustong sumali sa ating community, i-click nyo lang ho yung join button sa baba. Ayun na nga mga kababayan, welcome back sa PH Update ha. Para sa mga OFW ho natin na talagang napakatindi kong sumuporta, isang matinding palakpakan para sa kanila. Ayun na nga dito sa video na to, pag-usapan ho muna natin itong NAIA worst airport sa buong mundo. Palakpakan ho, no? Matagal na ho nating ano yan, kumbaga, ninanasa, ha? Kasi sa loob ng 6 na taon sa panunungkulan ni Tatay Digong, medyo bumaba ho tayo dyan eh. Nawala ho tayo dyan sa worst airport sa buong mundo. Kaya dito sa administrasyon ni Marcos Jr., sa tingin ho natin, dapat palakpakan ang administrasyon, di ba? Ika nga nitong si Mama Crisette, salamat kaayo. Kaayo, salamat kasi dito sa administrasyon na to, napabilang, nandun tayo sa pinakatugatog, ika nga, tugatog ng tagumpay, okay? Yan ang mga accomplishment. Walang humpay na pagtaas ng inflation, di ba? Yung talagang hindi mapigilan no? Yung pagsipa ng mga presyo ng pangunahing bilihin, talaga hong umaalagwa. Ika nga, wala hong magawa ang administrasyon itong si Marcos Jr. Ngayon naman, panibagong accomplishment, back to back, ika nga, no? Worst airport sa buong mundo. Ayon ho yan sa Australian firm. Ito na ho mga kababayan, bago natin pag-usapan yung naging interview na yan, itong si Senator Coco Pimentel dito kay Ma'am Karen Davila. Actually, continuation lang ho ito nung naging interview niya kagabi na pinanood natin. Gawan ho natin ng part 2 para mapasadahan ho natin at makita ho natin lahat ng napag-usapan nila para mapakinggan natin yung mga punto de vista nitong si Senator Coco Pimentel. Ito mga kababayan, umpisahan ho natin ang ating talakayan dito kay Senator Bato de la Rosa. Iyon, ito ho mga kababayan, pakinggan natin. Ito yung pinaka-latest na press con ha. Ito yan. Yung pakinggan ho natin. Mangining.
Sir, yung transcript ng hearing nung nakaraan dito, wala na daw po ng ICC namin para dun sa investigation sa warrant.
Depende yan sa liderato ng Senado, no? Kung gusto niya i-submit doon. But then, kung mag-submit siya, I will try to question him. Why are you submitting to ICC?
Yan ang sinasabi natin. Palakpakan ho muna natin itong si Senator Bato. Diba? Questionin ho niya itong si Senate President kung sakaling magsumite ng kopya ng transcript ng napag-usapan dyan sa subcommittee ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Saludo, isang matigas na saludo para dito kay Senator Bato de la Rosa.
We do not recognize the jurisdiction of ICC. Bakit? What? Kung mag-submit ka tayo doon, that is tantamount to recognizing their jurisdiction over us. So, I would ask him, why are you going to submit?
Pero sabi ni SP, wala raw po.
Sa tingin natin, bakit gustong mag-submit nitong si Boy Kilay dahil yun ang utos ng amo niya dyan sa Malacanang, no? Kaya kung ano man yung mga findings o ano man yung mga napag-usapan dyan sa subcommittee na yan, talagang kung ang ating tatanong itong si Chis Escudero, i-submit na yan as soon as possible. Sa tingin niyo ho ba mga kababayan, itong si Trillanes, si Boy Kilay, itong si Chis Escudero, itong si Barbers, itong si Tambalusos, si Lisa Araneda Marcos, nag-uusap-usap po ba sila para talagang mapin down nila itong mga Duterte na to? Kasi ito base sa ating payak na obserbasyon sa mga nangyayari ngayon. Kumbaga orchestrated lahat ng nangyayari, di ba? Diyan sa House of Representatives, bumibira sila. Itong si Trililing, naisumiti na yung mga napag-usapan dyan sa Quad Committee, sa ICC. Ngayon naman, itong si Boy Kilay, magbibigay daw ng transcript. At ito naman si Coco Pimentel, willing magbigay ng transcript, magbibigay pa daw ho ng certified true copy. Di ho kaya sa likod ng lahat ng kaganapan na to, meron ho silang meeting, maya't maya itong mga individual na to para talagang solidong-solido ang banat sa mga Duterte. Sa tingin niyo ho mga kababayan?
Problema kung may manghingi daw from the ICC and kung i-certify daw ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee.
Walang problema sa kanya. Pero sa akin, mukhang may problema. Kasi, yun nga, giving in to their request is tantamount to recognizing the jurisdiction over us. And our government is very consistent in declaring that ICC has no jurisdiction over us.
Correct.
So sana, although we are co-equal branch with the co-equal branch of government with the executive, kung yun ang stand ng executive branch of government na hindi natin na-recognize, din sana yung legislative branch also will also follow the same line. That's my point only. Hindi porke ako'y isa sa akusado doon sa ICC, ganun ang aking stand. Pero tinitingnan ko lang from that point of view na dapat isa lang yung ating line, ating stand as far as foreign policy is concerned.
Correct,
And
correct,
that
correct.
we should take the cue from the President. Since sinabi ng President, being the chief architect of the foreign policy, sundin natin yung linya ng Pangulo.
Sir,
Yeah.
clarify, ang sabi naman po ni Senate President, hindi naman ang Senate ang magbibigay ng copy sa ICC. Ang Senate lang ay pwede mag-certify kung valid ang request. Isa-certify, sir, na true copy or true transcript yung sa Senate.
Oh, yun, pero tanungin muna niya kung for what purpose is that certified true copy for, di ba?
Tama ho yan, no? Kasi baka pati yung mga yung mga banyaga na manghingi ng certified true copy ng transcript na yan, bigyan din ho, di ba? Tsaka kumbaga, dapat yung ICC na to, kumbaga case closed na to, ika nga, di ba? Yung di na dapat pinag-uusapan yung ICC na yan kasi doon muna tayo sa wala ho silang jurisdiction, 'di ba? At saka gumagana yung ating mga korte sa Pilipinas. Kaya dapat dito sa picture na to wala na ho sila. Kung yung meron ho silang mga findings diyan sa TUAD committee at diyan sa subcommittee diyan sa Senado, ibigay na ho sa DOJ lahat ng nakita nilang posibleng linapag ng nagdaang administrasyon. Huwag na diyan sa ICC. Pagka bilib na bilib kayo sa mga Pilipino, sa yung mga Pilipino. Dito sa isa na to dapat hayaan niyo ho yung ating mga korte ang lumitis dito kay dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi ho natin pwedeng ibigay kung kani-kanino. Yang honor ika nga na litisin ng isang Pilipino, isang presidenteng Pilipino ng mga Pilipinong korte ika nga. Huwag nating ibigay sa mga banyaga na to. Grabe naman para tayong wala ho ba tayong kasaringlan hindi ho ba tayo sovereign? Hindi ho ba naka-under ho ba tayo dito sa mga puti na to? Wala ho ba tayong sariling justice system? Kailangan pa ho nating umasa dito sa mga banyaga na to. Napakalaki yung sampal sa pagmumukha ng bawat Pilipino pagka kung sakaling itong si dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte linitis nitong mga banyaga na to. Nakakalungkot to.
For what purpose? Sinong naghingi at para saan?
Correct.
So dapat itanong rin niya. Hindi lang porque mechanical tayo, certified na certified, naturong copy yan, dapat magtanong rin tayo para saan yan dadalhin. Anong purpose yan? Anong gagamitan niya? At pag sinabing para sa ICC, dapat sabihin sana niya na giving this copy to ICC is tantamount to recognizing their jurisdiction over us.
Pero sir, ano yung worry ninyo na magbigay ng transcript sa ICC?
Wala akong worry. Ang akin lang is dapat synchronize tayong lahat. Pag sinabi ng Malacanang na hindi natin i-recognize yung jurisdiction ng ICC, hindi natin dapat i-recognize as a country, as a nation. So magkaisa tayong lahat. Hindi yung iba yung sinasabi ng Malacanang, iba yung sinasabi ng Senado. Di ba? Dapat magkaisa tayo. Ang habol pa naman dito isa, hindi tayo magbugang tanga as a nation. Di ba? Yun lang akin.
Sir, may susunod pa po bang hearing doon sa Waranggat?
Sabi ni Senator Coco, maybe in the middle of November. Middle of November. Ha?
After pa po ng budget?
Kahit na hindi siguro matapos ng budget, basta sabi niya, middle of November. Baka mamaya, ang budget namin, abot pa yung December, di ba? So, pwedeng while the budget is, deliberation is going on sa plenary, meron kaming time naman na mag-conduct ng hearing in the morning.
So yung pupunta pa sa PRRB?
Hindi na siguro, dahil nasabi naman niya lahat at natanong naman lahat ang gusto itanong
Correct.
sa kanya. Ayaw nga niya umalis, di ba? Sabi niya, ayaw ko na bumalik dito kay mahal na pamasahe. Dapat tapusin na natin ito. Eh, sabi naman ng senador, wala na kami tanong sa iyo, sir. Pwede ka na magpahinga.
First, sir, sabi ni Senator Coco, in case na yung ibang i-invite na mga resource person, yung may mabigat na sasabihin against PRRD, pwede ko patawag daw ulit.
Pwede, pwede. Pwede.
Uh-huh.
Pwede, pag may mabigat na ano, pwede patawag ulit.
Kasi haharapin sila Garma, Leonardo, so open na, naman si
Maganda. Ako alam ko mahal. Alam ko mahirap, nahihirapan na tong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Pero sa tingin ho natin mabibigyan ng linaw yung mga aligasyon dito kay Tatay Digong kung sakaling dumating si Garma, si Leonardo, si Kerwin Espinosa, lahat ng mga malalaking pangalan dito sa issue na to at talagang kumprontahin nila itong si dating Pangulo Rodrigo. Para magkaalaman ho, hindi yung darating si Tatay Digong, wala tong si Garma, darating si Garma na wala naman tong si Tatay Digong. Maganda magkagulatan yung talagang maghaharap-harap po sila. No?
Ito, tanungin natin. Tanungin ko.
Sir, may we get your comment daw po, si Taox po, si Director Casio, nililig po sa pwesto kasi allegedly nanampal daw sa isang operation ng tao.
Bakit niya sila ba?
Overworker.
Ha?
Hindi po malinaw eh, parang usap-usapan lang po na parang naging bastos towards the PAO personnel. So, may video sir eh, kung sinampal niya magkabilaan.
Magkasawang sampal.
Ang becoming yun, manampal ka na tao. Dapat suntok. Hindi sampal.
Nag-dirty finger sa minura sila. Nag-dirty finger yung tao. Sa minura sila.
Ay, personal pa na yun. Naisulto siya, di ba? Naisulto siya. Pero, but then again, pag ikaw nanakit ng tao, lalo na government official ka, hindi talaga maganda. Hindi maganda. Dapat, dirty finger siya, o minura siya, dirty finger, dapat, ang action niya doon is, sabi ni Bato, inhale, inhale dapat, exhale.
Hindi mananapap.
Huwag kang mag-react agad. Lalo na pag may kamera. Patay ka dyan. Pag may kamera. Inhale, exhale, para hindi ka mag-resort to violence.
So may reason para siya i-suspend, sir?
Well, I'm sure the powers are considering that as an appropriate action. Yung sino yung nasa taas sa kanya. So,
Sir, pag nakita niya po si Kerwin dito sa hearing, inhale, exhale.
inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Ganun na lang.
Pag nakaharap yung camera, si Senator Bato, inhale, exhale lang siya. Pero pagka wala ng camera, paglabas ho nitong si panigurado, gulpi sarado yung yung sa katawan na yun ni Senator Bato, serious.
Titingnan ko na lang titingnan ko na lang. Magkuha ka sa tingin. Magkuha ka sa tingin. Hindi na kita saktan.
Grabe.
Sir, meron ba kayong puting SUV?
Ha?
May puting SUV po ba?
Wala ko. Kadilak yun, mahal nun.
Escalade.
Hindi ko kaya yun. Mahal yun na sakyan. At saka, hindi rin ako mahilig magamit ng number 7 na plate number. You're giving away your location. That's not safety that's not safety consciousness. Mahirap yun.
Pero may...
Binibigyan mo ng chance yung mga drug lord na gusto umambus sa'yo, na maambus ka.
So,
Hindi mo gamit yan.
Wala ka number 7 plate kayo, sir?
Wala. Bakit ko ba i-announce to the whole world na senador ako, na alam ko naman na senador ako? Bakit ko ba ipagmamayabang sa kanila na senador ako, number 7 yung plate number ko? That's,
Ang cute mag-react nito si Senator Bato.
pinakita yung rason, bakit mo yung
Galing,
So sir, optional pala yun?
Nakakatuwa lang.
Optional yung pagkuha ng ganong...
Kung gusto mo lang. Kung gusto mo lang. Ako hindi ko gusto. Bakit mo... Tago ka tayo ng tago. Display mo pa yung number 7 dahil senador ka.
Wala kayo number 7, sir.
Wala.
Number 2 lang.
Ha? Number 1 lang. Isa lang asawa mo. Number 1. Walang iba. Number 1.
Sir, bukod sa inyo, may bukod senador na walang number 7 na plate number.
Marami ba siguro? Alam mo? Ay, kasi yung bumaba dyan sa garahe namin, no? Tingnan nyo yung sakyan dyan, kung may number 7, kukunti lang gumagamit ng 7. Parang yung iba, hindi.
For security reasons.
Security reason. Security reason siya.
Kasi walang extra
Correct.
privileges yung meron kang number 7 na protocol plate.
Wala man siguro. Sa
Wala
ano ito?
lang number.
Yabang man siguro yan. Mayabang ka na number 7 yung plate number mo. Parang gano'n naman yan. May privilege ba? Anong privilege mo dyan?
Walang number coding.
Ha?
Yun lang, walang number
Ay, walang member coding? Hindi ko alam yan. Hindi ko alam. Wala palang member coding?
Nagagamit na nagagamit na
Gagamit ako din, pero pala, may privilege pala. Hindi talaga, hindi ko gagamit yan.
Kami pa, Senator, ano pambihira talaga.
Sir, napag-usapan
Galing,
kayo
ah.
sa focus kagabi. Kasi nag-focus po kayo, di ba? Napag-usapan po
Ay, hindi na mag-usapan. Nalaman na ba kung sino? Hindi.
Fake daw, sir. Fake daw yung plate number.
Fake daw.
And then, sir, yung sa BARM election, sir, ano yung stand niyo doon? Kasi pinupush po ng Senate President na i-postpone to May 2016 ang BARM elections. Napag-usapan doon sa caucus.
Hindi pa, wala pa akong permanent stand yan. I am open to discussion pa. Pag-usapan natin kung ano talaga dapat. Kasi nga, last time, di ba, nag-commit kami na, okay, last Congress, we committed na, okay, pwede yung i-extend natin. Pero last na to, ha? Parang yun ang general statement ng mga senador noon. Okay, papayag tayo na extend, pero last na yan. Parang ganon. So ngayon, kung kung ano naman natin, baka mamaya may mga repercussions. So, ako, hindi pa ako sarado yung stand ko pagdating dyan. Open pa ako. Pag-usapan natin, what are the pros and cons? Ano mga advantages, disadvantages, yung i-postpone natin. So, I'm open to discussion. Wala pa akong decision.
Pero sir, sa caucus kahapon, marami daw senador nag-express ng concern.
Mukha. Kasi dahil nga yung previous Congress na nakapagsabi tayo na okay, extend natin pero last na yan. Parang ganun yung mga nandun noon, yung last Congress.
So baka hindi open for postponement yung mga taga-BARM. Ganun na, sir.
Election na ng BARM yung pinag-uusapan nila. Dito sa bahagi ng video natin na to, panoorin naman natin pakinggan ng naging talakayan itong si Ma'am Karen Davila ng ANC at nitong si Senator Coco Pimentel. Ito mga kababayan, pakinggan natin to.
Good morning, Karen, and to all of our viewers and listeners. Magandang umaga po, umayong buntag kaninyong tanan.
All right. So I want your reaction. Let's start first with representatives from the House Quad Committee, specifically Representative Abante and Representative Dan Fernandez, criticizing how the Senate hearing was conducted. And you heard Representative Abante stating that, in effect, Duterte was given so much leeway, right? In effect, there was a compromise in the hearings that his allies were allowed to take over. Let's start with that, Senator.
Well, number one, the so-called allies.
Teka lang ganun ho kababastos itong mga congressman na to, kagaya nitong si Dan Fernandez at nitong si Atras Abante. Pag kung ano-anong kabastusan pinaggagawa nila dun sa Tuwad Committee, hindi yung nagsasalita itong mga senador na to. Wala ho silang pakialam. Inaayaan lang mo nila. Business nila yan. Paano pakialam namin dyan? Sila bahala dyan. Chamber nila yan eh. Pero nung nagsagawa na ho ng hearing itong Senado at talagang kinausap nila itong dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte, all of a sudden, masyado daw binigyan ng leeway itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Yung inter-parliamentary courtesy na dapat ho sana inu-observe nila pagdating sa mga ganyang klaseng usapin, hindi na, wala na hong pakialam yung House of Representatives, yung mga membro dyan, yung inter-parliamentary courtesy na huwag nung pakialaman yung chamber, kung yung upper chamber, dahil di kayo pinapakialaman dyan sa lower chamber.
Really outnumbered let's label the other side, the non-allies. The allies outnumbered the non-allies in a majority ruled proceeding. Then the majority has the advantage. So yun. And then pagdating siguro sa given too much leeway, because former President Duterte became the star personality there, because we were also supposed to share the time, the limelight with Garma, Leonardo, and the victim families, and even Kerwin Espinosa. Ganun sana yun eh. Parang in my mind, there were really five compartments or 5 segments. So President Duterte, Garma, Leonardo, victim families, and Espinosa. So what happened? Wala yung tatlo. So the time allotted supposed to have been given to the three who were absent. I just decided to let the former president just get this time because yung iba kasi like yung sila Senator Laila de Lima, nag-commit naman sila that they can attend the subsequent hearings. Attorney Shell Jokno, Attorney Father Flavi and the victims, they can attend in the next hearings. So I just took advantage. Naging practical lang po ako na andyan sa harap namin yung isang former president na actually sabi nila first time daw nag-appear ang isang former president sa Senate hearing. So it must be a rare occasion and very difficult to invite a former president to keep on coming back. So ganun po nangyari yun. So we just took advantage. So gave him time. Pero may time limit pa rin because we all had our prior commitments that day. So we also had to stop the hearing at a certain time.
Okay, I think let's get specific here. Would you have done anything differently? It seems that the criticism of these representatives is how you conducted the hearing. Yun ang una kong tanong ko. Should you have been tougher on the former president? Should you have interrupted him? What do you think, Senator?
Siguro yung number one is probably tama si Senate President Chis Escudero that I got desensitized about the cursing. And by I saw an interview na he counted the curse words around, sabi niya 21. And I only intended to allow one. So nalusutan po ako ng 20. So yun po, isa yun.
Nalusutan. Pambihira talaga to si Tatay Digong. Pati sa hearing, nakakalusot siya.
Pero yung rambling, kunyari the witness is rambling, I'll give some allowance na. I give some allowance because we want to get as much information from this person as possible. So let him testify freely according to his style and not unnecessarily interrupt him. So yun siguro. Pero nang tapos pansin natin that's not only the rambling but also the repetition. So pinayagan ko na rin yun because nag-extend din naman kasi ako ng mga around 2 hours. So binigay ko na po sa kanya yung 2 hours na yun.
Okay, let's talk about that. Do you believe the president was rambling? Or frankly speaking, by letting him speak, he put himself in trouble?
As the person who will write the draft of the committee report, so I want to ask for understanding that I cannot yet right now reveal all of my thoughts, all of my reactions kasi isusulat ko po yan. Basta what has happened is that the testimony was under oath. Therefore, those of us who will now go over the testimony because we have the obligation to write a report and recommend something, we will treat all of his statements as serious statements. Unless he qualified the sentence as the following sentence is a joke, then we will really treat it like a joke. But if it's not qualified as a joke, that is an under oath statement. So dadaanan po namin yun. And even if let us say the sentence is about this subject matter and then the second sentence negates or contradicts the first sentence, we will have to take it into context. Babasahin po namin yan. Ano ba yung konteksto? So, and then, the former president cannot control our decision-making process. Kung ano ang paniniwalaan namin sa lahat ng sinabi niya, nasa sa amin na po yun. Hindi niya kami madidiktahat ano dyan ang dapat namin paniwalaan.
Do you believe that by letting the president speak, he revealed more?
He revealed a lot because number one, that is his way of speaking. If you interrupt him, then he will now restart. He will start again from the original thought, and we just keep on repeating what has been stated before you interrupted him. So you let him speak, you get more information, you get more details, you get more kwento. So I'm using words lang, Karen, objectively because I will, as the subcommittee chairman, I believe it is my responsibility to come up with the first draft of the subcommittee report. Then, sinicirculate ngayon yan. Mag-agree yung iba, magdi-disagree yung iba.
Now, what do you make of Representative Abante? We often talk about interparliamentary courtesy. What do you make of Representative Abante criticizing you, how you conducted yourself when, let's face it, you and other colleagues don't criticize the lower house or now they conduct their own hearings?
Ako nga, actually, I have refrained from commenting on how Quadcom conducts its hearings. Pero siguro, I will just allow that as a constituent Abante. Siguro ganun na lang. I will just accept his criticism because he is also my constituent. Di ba? National yung constituency namin eh. So, he is my constituent, our constituent. So, he has the right to criticize us. Pero ganito na lang kasi, yung Quadcom na yan,
Yan.
why don't they just subpoena the former president and require his appearance before them? Eh, ang dami rin nila kasing cheche boreche na invite, not invite, invite, not invite. Eh,
Kaya nga naman, invite nyo na. Dami nyo pa kasing cheche bureche. Yan to, na cheche bureche kayo kay... na nga ba sinasabi natin, isubpina nyo na si dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte. Kaso, baka pati subpina, hindi dadalawan ni Tatay Digong. Meron na naman nung maset na president, no? Na yung isang former president, sinubpina ng isang committee, hindi dumalo. Wala na naman, ho. Kasi, hindi naman ho nila pwedeng basta-basta i-contempt yan si dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte. Takot na lang ho ni Ace Barbers. Di ba?
Pina nyo na lang, and then pag nandiyan na sa harap ninyo, then get the information that you want to get, and I hope that your proceedings will be more perfect than ours.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. You have Representative Robert Ace Barbers now saying that Duterte didn't look like he was of frail health when he attended the Senate probe. And he said that he was hoping that Duterte would show up at the next Quadcom hearing. Ang tanong ko, if the Quadcom subpoenas the former president and he refuses to appear, given he is a former president, can you actually cite him in contempt or have him arrested? Is that allowed?
House rules, can we ask them about their house rules?
Okay.
Pero
So magkaiba yun.
Let me explain the subcommittee's rule. Kasi I am not an ordinary committee, I'm just a subcommittee. Actually, the subcommittee has been deprived of the power to cite in contempt. Because that's the section 20 of our rule. So, siguro doon lang yung mga tao na nakita nila na
Naguguluhan.
committee hearing ito sa Quadcom, ang bilis ng trigger happy sila ron sa pagdating sa contempt eh.
Matangin nyo yun, pati yung mga senador, pansin ho nila na trigger happy itong mga congressman na ito pagdating sa contempt. Di ba? Dalawang alam bilang, isa pa, contempt ka na. Ganun ho sila doon.
Puno na yata ngayon detention center nila. Puno na. May overflow na sa Women's Correctional, sa Bilibid ba, or sa Quezon City Jail. Oh. So meron silang power to cite in contempt, and they've been freely generously been citing people in contempt. The regular committees ng Senate, meron din power to cite in contempt, but a subcommittee, wala.
Okay. So do you think this is one of the reasons why you have critics saying Duterte called the shots? He took control of the Senate subcommittee. Do you think that was true? And do you think it's because it was a subcommittee?
No, hindi naman. Even if I had the power to cite in contempt, the question is, would I have exercised the power? I don't think that we have crossed any line to have cited the former president in contempt, di ba? I mean, at saka you do not do that unnecessarily kasi that's why it's a hearing before a legislative body. You know that there is some politics involved. Eh. Sometimes the person would want to be cited in contempt, hindi ba? So, ingat din tayo. We don't give in to the plan or to the desire of that person. So but at any rate, that subcommittee has no power to cite in contempt. The point is, okay, the plan was to end at 4 o'clock. We ended at around 7 o'clock. So we had three extra hours. Garma was not there. Leonardo was not there. Espinosa was not there. So we give it to this witness who rarely makes public appearances or official appearances before government bodies. Let's give it to him. Okay, salita ako ngayon. Pero ang ano doon is, ang iba kasi na paulit-ulit, siguro mga 3 to 4 times na sabi. Pero okay, let us, because that is also valuable for us investigators to see kung consistent ba yung, even if you repeat something, are you consistently repeating something? So, we will now be convinced that, okay, this is really his stand on this particular issue because he stated it 3 times and the statement is really perfectly the same. So that may value din po lahat yun. But we could have ended it actually 2 hours earlier. Pero since my next commitment got also moved. So that means I had time. So I allowed it. Nandun na siya, sayang.
But did you feel any pressure? Because at one point in time, you were actually a supporter of former President Duterte. You were a believer before the whole PDP Laban issue. You were one of those who supported Duterte early, right?
Yes.
Did you feel that kind of a pressure?
Well, I'm no longer his supporter now. We have a pending case before the Supreme Court. So we have our political differences. We do not communicate. So parang may ano ba yung kasabay, hindi na kami close. Karen. So he has absolutely zero influence over me, especially on the way I think. So when I write the committee report, our past relationship, our past friendship, our past dealings will have zero influence over me. And even but also ito lang dadagdag ko, even our present disputes will also not affect my way of thinking. I will just look at the evidence. I will follow the evidence. Hindi ko sasabihin na guilty itong taong ito dahil nag-away kami sa control of a political party. Ang layo na nun eh. And I'm not that kind of a person.
Palakpakan ho natin to si Pimentel. Palakpakan ho natin. Hindi ho natin kaalyado yan, hindi natin kapanalig yan sa mga kaganapan sa ating bansa, pero isang matikas na saludo para dito kay isang snappy salute para dito kay Senator Coco Pimentel. Ayos yung mga litanya niya dito sa interview.
I want to be fair. But what is there? I need to look at what is there. What is the evidence?
Okay, and I wanted to add also, I mean, I think, let's say, not as a journalist, but as an ordinary viewer, it's actually a minus when you have legislators grandstanding, right? So when you watch a hearing, for example, you want to hear, gusto mo pakinggan yung kwento ng isang witness. What you have some legislators, whether in the lower house or in the Senate, they want to take that opportunity to grandstand, di ba? Senator, seeing it. Hindi mo na marinig. But what happened is actually with Duterte being allowed to speak, if you ask any ordinary viewer, more was revealed. So if I were to ask you, what kind of information do you believe was highlighted and important that Duterte admitted in the Senate?
Well,
number one, he admitted there was a Davao Death Squad.
That there was a Davao Death Squad. Of course, that there were deaths actually perpetrated by the Davao Death Squad. As to who composed, meron siya ibang versions doon. Yun. Kailangan imbestigahan yun. But not by calling him again. He cannot be the source of all information. That's why we really need to do some investigating ourselves. And then number two, siguro I got worried about that he got to teach early in the police officers' professional lives. He got to teach them that early.
Encourage them.
Huh? Yeah,
encourage them.
So that is now the professor of a fresh police officer. So ang tanong ko, who are screening those who get access as professors to the fresh police officers? They have to be screened. And if they teach that way, that you highlight first what is questionable, sabihin na natin what is illegal for 1 hour you highlight what is illegal, what should not be done, that you do what should not be done, and then the last 10 minutes of the lecture you say that this will all be legal if it's in self-defense. I mean that's somebody should be screening also the professors teaching our police officers.
Okay.
Delikado yun eh. So among others yan, Karen, ang dami pang problema. You see,
and what do you think? I wanted to ask you what you thought when Duterte said, yung mga yan, yung nakaupo dyan, yung commander na yan, mga commander yan ng Davao Death Squad. Yan si Bato, Davao Death Squad yan. Right?
In fairness to them, ang natural reaction ko tinignan ko sila kung sino magre-react They were so timid They walang tagtaas ng kamay. So ang ginawa ko, initiative ko, tinanong ko sila, do you want to react?
Tama. Nakita ho natin yun. No? Nakita natin yun. Talagang hindi siya isa nitong si Pimentel, yung mga naging hepe dyan sa Davao City. At wala namang kilala nyo naman yung Tatay Digong, no? Baka pati nga yung si Risa Hontiveros, ituro niya rin gano'n, di ba? Palabiro yung mama di ba? Lahat na lang pagka sineryoso mo yung mga sinasabi nitong si Tatay Digong,
kasi
magmumukha kang
I mean, you are really put in a bad light. I mean, you should react. But since they did not want to react, I required them to react. Yung iba, okay lang, parang binabrush aside lang nila. But look, si Catalino Puy, when I gave him the chance, sabi niya, I'm glad I'm given this chance because it's not, I do not confirm that. That because I think once upon a time, that was also linked to him and it affected his career. Yun ang point. I think that was the gist of his input.
And then I interviewed Senator Bato de la Rosa on Head Start last week, and he categorically just denied. He said, hindi ako naging miyembro ng Davao Death Squad, pero hayaan na lang daw magsalita si Duterte. Ganun daw yun, nagbibiro lang.
Okay. At least may nagsabi ng gano'n. Pero if we look at just the words of the witness or the resource persons, hindi niya sinabi yun. So nasa sa amin na yun. Those who will now go over the records, come up with conclusions and write the draft subcommittee report, nasa sa amin yun. Will we believe, how much weight or belief will we put this statement? Will we treat this as a joke? Na hindi naman niya sinabing joke, ibang tao ang nagsabi ng joke, hindi siya. Oh, so who 'di ba what is the qualification of a third party saying that the person speaking is joking?
Yeah. So now I want to ask you about Police Officer Grijalde. Police
Grijaldo.
Officer Grijaldo, who had an assigned affidavit, read it in the Senate, and said essentially that Representative Abante and Representative Dan Fernandez spoke with him privately and said, ipinakita, ayan, ito yung testimony ni Garma, yan ang sasabihin mo, yan ang sasabihin mo. And Abante
Ayun na nga mga kababayan, dito na una tatapusin ang ating reaction video. Maraming salamat po sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Mag-ingat ho kayong lahat. Mahalin natin ng Pilipinas.